Welcome back, another episode. Family Style is the title of this week's Quantum Leap episode 13. It centers on an Indian restaurant whose owner has passed away, and the two daughters, Kamini and Manisha, together with his wife, Sonali Prasad, are taking over immediately after. The episode takes place in 2009. Observations from an Indian restaurant when Ben transforms into the body of a young female cook at an Indian restaurant. Sonali is attempting to preserve the cuisine of her late husband Ram. Manisha, though, thinks otherwise. Instead of catering to the masses, she believes the restaurant can be more innovative and intriguing by serving regional Indian cuisine. Sonali is against change and favors keeping things the same, because it makes no sense to switch to a losing team, and since it is so difficult for her to move on without her recently deceased husband. Manisha and Sonali had been arguing over the new menu for a very long time. The two of them concur when Ben advises signing up for the Groupon discount program. There will soon be 200 appointments made for the same day as the reservations keep piling up. The day is going to be busy. Discounts are available on Groupon for just about anything. When it first debuted in the early 2000s, it was incredibly well liked. Borrowing Family Style around this time, Addison appears. She tells Ben that Sonali will pass away immediately after the restaurant burns down tonight. Manisha will never return to the restaurant industry. Ben must put an end to all of that because he has made it his top priority. Ben truly excels in this Family Style. Stories of human interest. Ben is truly the angel that these people so desperately need. It turns out that the Prasads owe their landlord around $30. Ben is threatened with being choked by a big man by the landlord, who is pretty tacky. This essentially explains why the pressure on women is so great. And that is why Sonali is opposed to a new menu. Launching a new menu when there is so much at stake is too hazardous. I can see why she wouldn't want it. You may call it conservatism, but starting a new budget before paying off debt appears to be a priority. Furthermore, how could you possibly try a new menu with 200 reservations? If it fails, your firm will never recover. Yet, if you succeed, you might quickly be debt-free. Manisha leaves her position. But the hostilities between Sonali and Manisha become so intense that Manisha departs, leaving only Sonali and Ben to prepare food for 300 guests. Given that the Groupon also increased, she tells Sonali that 300 is excessive, and she responds, so is $30. She is correct, but is it really worth pushing oneself too far? I disagree. Mid-episode, we weren't expecting a family-style meal like this. Sonali also suffers from RSI as a result of repeatedly performing the same tasks at the restaurant, which creates a further disadvantage when you are preparing food for 300 people. Unfortunate circumstances like those turn the hill that needed to be climbed into a mountain. Family Style also refers to a refusal to accept assistance. Ben tries to persuade Sonali to bring Manisha back to the restaurant, but Sonali just refuses. She departed and is now seeking her own interests. I find it truly difficult to comprehend this. Even though you are aware that the restaurant will be busy, you choose to leave since you can't wait a few days to introduce your own new menu. Give your mother and sister a break, I mean. A couple of buddies come into the restaurant in the meantime and approach Sonali. Sonali is too proud to accept their assistance, though. It is also ineffective. In order to assist with the restaurant's finances, Ben instead tries to find an investor. The man consents to visit the restaurant in the hopes that the investor will be able to rescue everything. Now, I understand that everyone involved is in a dire situation, but why do they still insist on putting all their eggs in one basket? I worry about the remainder of the program if this is the Prasad's Family Style. Ben seeks Miss Hani out in an effort to persuade her to assist nonetheless. Cooking for 300 guests with just 2 cooks is not feasible due to the strain. In the pizza joint his father likes best, Ben discovers her. When they converse, Ben asks whether she wants to return. Sonali is present as well, though. There are also fireworks, although they are not typical fireworks. Miss Hani is invited to try one of Sonali's newest delicacies. Just one, and Miss Hani consents to return. As the restaurant burns down, finding hope, the women recall their father Ram's opinion that pizza embodied everything great about the American cooking. After laughing about how amazing their father is, they quickly return to the restaurant to begin working on the busiest night of their lives. The restaurant has been set on fire by the landlord, Kathy, just as they arrive. She plans to use the insurance to her advantage while still receiving the $30,000 from the family by telling the firemen that foreigners are not to be trusted. She thus wins twice, which is actually false. You can't anticipate that the cops will have any fraud suspicions at this time. Then Ben devises a fantastic strategy and the night goes on as planned. Visitors arrive at the wedding site that he secures. Ironically, the investor doesn't, because he has food poisoning. The gang of pals arrives and offers assistance in numerous ways. Financially, a new restaurant site, and one of them is a police officer who will ultimately detain Kathy on suspicion of fraud. Ben insists on speaking to me one final time, even though it is almost time to jump. Ben is constrained by his pent-up rage over the loss of his mother, as we witnessed in the last episode. Ben confides in Sonali, who serves as the episode's surrogate mother, and eventually finds solace in the passing of his mother. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe our channel.